In one of the most powerful cities in the world, Washington, D.C., a little girl vanished, and almost no one noticed. Her name was Relisha Rudd, 8 years old. Bright smile, brown eyes full of hope, and lost long before the world even knew she was missing. She didn't disappear from a park. She didn't disappear from a mall. She disappeared from a homeless shelter inside the nation's capital, a place meant to protect families. But they didn't protect Relisha. The system didn't protect Relisha. And the truth is, most people still don't know her story. Because Relisha wasn't taken in the shadows. She was failed in plain sight. This is not just a missing child case. This is a story about silence, fear, broken promises. And a question that America still hasn't answered. How does a girl disappear for 18 days before anyone realizes she's gone? Relisha Rudd was 8 years old when she disappeared in 2014. She loved doing her hair in tiny braids, drawing on anything she could find, and dancing in pink sneakers that flashed when she ran. She grew up in poverty but dreamed in color. She didn't have toys, she had imagination. She didn't have safety, but she still had hope. Her world was not easy. She lived with her mother and brothers inside the D.C. General Homeless Shelter, a massive, overcrowded building filled with broken stories, crime, drugs, abuse, but also children who had nowhere else to go. Relisha didn't talk much about dreams. She talked about survival. She never got a chance to grow up. Inside the shelter, there was a man who became a familiar face, Tatum. He wasn't a teacher. He wasn't family. He wasn't a friend. He was a janitor. But he was kind to Relisha. Too kind. He bought her candy, gave her money, took her on trips. He pulled her closer, then pulled her away from her mother. He groomed her. People saw it, staff saw it, adults saw it. No one stopped it. In early March 2014, Relisha stopped showing up at school. Her teacher asked what was wrong. Her mother said she was with a doctor, a man named Dr. Tatum. But there was no doctor. There was only Tatum. And Relisha Rudd would never be seen again. Relisha didn't vanish in a single night. She faded away, day by day, step by step, while no one reported her missing. Not her school, not the shelter, not social services. For 18 days, Relisha was missing, before anyone even noticed. By the time police opened a missing persons investigation, she was already gone. When a social worker finally asked to see Relisha, her mother said she was with Dr. Tatum, being treated for an illness. But Tatum wasn't a doctor. He wasn't a caregiver. He was the last person seen with Relisha. Police went to question him. He was gone. He had checked into a Red Roof Inn hotel with Relisha days earlier, but by the time police arrived, both had disappeared. The FBI launched a search. For the first time ever, Relisha Rudd's name hit the news. America didn't know it yet, but a race against time had already been lost. Detectives collected security footage from the Holiday Inn Express in Northeast D.C. It showed Relisha walking down a hallway, wearing a white coat, following Tatum. He had his hand on her back. She didn't look scared. She looked like she trusted him. That was the last confirmed video evidence of Relisha Rudd alive. Tatum wasn't a doctor. He was a predator with a past. He had a criminal record. He had a violent history. He had access to families at their most vulnerable, inside the D.C. homeless shelter system, and nobody stopped him. When police searched Tatum's locker at the shelter, they found sex supplies, hotel cards, gifts meant for kids, and a large sum of cash. This wasn't random. This was organized. Tatum didn't just run with Relisha. He kept moving, changing hotels, avoiding cameras, and then something even darker emerged. Police found his wife, Andrea Tatum, shot dead in a hotel room. Killed execution style. Tatum was now wanted for kidnapping and murder. The search became a manhunt. Then, almost as quickly as he appeared, he was gone too. Police found Khalil Tatum's body in a shed at Kenilworth Park. Dead from a gunshot wound, ruled a suicide. The only person who knew where Relisha was took the truth with him. Police searched Kenilworth Park for weeks. Drones, dogs, excavations, divers, thousands of volunteers. Nothing. They searched shelters, vacant apartments, abandoned buildings. No trace. They searched across 3 states. No trace. They searched the trash transfer station near the hotel where Tatum stayed. No trace. Relisha was gone. The FBI issued a nationwide alert. Her face was posted on billboards, buses, highways, but without a body, without a suspect alive, and without a witness left to speak. The world began to move on. But Washington, D.C. didn't. Her city refused to forget her. It wasn't just one person who failed Relisha. It wasn't just Tatum. It wasn't just her mother. The entire system collapsed around her. No one questioned why she missed school for weeks. No doctor confirmed her medical treatment story. No shelter employee reported inappropriate contact. No caseworker checked in on her when she vanished. When the FBI reviewed the case, they didn't blame one person. They blamed everyone. The disappearance of Relisha Rudd shook Washington, D.C. How could a little girl go missing for 18 days, while teachers, police, and social workers did nothing? A city council report would later call it a catastrophic system failure. Every institution meant to protect her failed her in sequence, like falling dominoes. And when the world finally looked for her, she was already gone. But some refused to let her name fade. Each year, volunteers gather at the Kenilworth Park and aquatic gardens, lighting candles, holding posters, saying her name out loud, Relisha Rudd. Her mother still lives with the questions. Her brothers still ask for her. Detectives still check new leads over a decade later. The FBI confirmed in 2024 that the case remains open. Her photo still appears on digital billboards across D.C. Her name still sits in the National Missing Persons Database. They are waiting for one phone call, one tip, one person brave enough to speak. There are many theories. Some believe Tatum took his own life after harming Relisha. Others believe she was sold or trafficked and could still be alive. But without evidence, everything is only speculation. The truth is buried under bureaucracy, time, and silence. Yet what stands above all the theories is something undeniable. Relisha Rudd was failed by the adults around her, and her story stands as a mirror, showing what happens when a society forgets its children. Relisha's disappearance forced the city to close the D.C. General Shelter and overhaul its child protection policies. It inspired nonprofits, child advocacy campaigns, and reforms in how social workers track vulnerable kids. Relisha's name became more than a case file. It became a symbol, a haunting reminder of every child who vanishes into the blind spots of a system too slow to care. She was 8 years old. She loved to draw. She loved pink. She trusted people who should have protected her. And she is still missing. The world moved on, but somewhere, in the heart of Washington, D.C., her smile lingers in murals, on posters, in the eyes of those who refuse to give up. Maybe she's still out there. Maybe the truth will come someday. Until then, her name must never fall silent. Relisha Rudd, the girl they forgot, but we never will. If you have any information about Relisha Rudd, please contact FBI 1-800-CALL-FBI, DC Metropolitan Police 202-727-9099, NCMEC tip line 1-800-THE-LOST. You can remain anonymous, but silence keeps her gone. If this story moved you, help us keep Relisha's voice alive. Like, comment, and subscribe so more people hear these stories. And watch our next investigation. You may have the details to solve a case, because remembering them is how we bring them home.